Coming up on today's episode, a new Blu-ray format your box won't play, 3 big screen cleaning no-nos, and help ripping CDs. Well, at least we got the Blu-ray releases for the week of September 14, 2010. This is HD Nation.
HD Nation.
Today's episode is brought to you by GoDaddy.com. Netflix. Go to netflix.com/HDNation for your free trial membership. And GameFly. Check out gamefly.com/HDNation for a free trial account.
Hey, welcome to HD Nation. I'm Robert Herron.
And I'm Patrick Norton. HD Nation is your guide to the best in HD content and the best in home theater gear, no matter what your budget is. Blu-ray, online, satellite, cable, over the air. If it's in HD, we like it. Oh man, sometimes you just got to start with a quote. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Are you braced?
I am.
Once you have Google Television, you're going to be very busy, Eric Schmidt said. It's going to ruin your evening. Yeah, that's the Google CEO, Eric Schmidt, at IFA Berlin during a demo of the upcoming Google TV service. That's expected to show up later this year on a Sony HDTV, a Sony Blu-ray player, and a Logitech set-top box. I like how Wired.com's Elliot Van Buskirk described it. The search giants bid to bring the web to the biggest screen in the house in a big way. And he made it pretty clear, Elliot did, I don't know about Eric Schmidt, that Google TV is a complement to your cable or satellite television service, not a replacement.
Bummer, man.
Well, at least until
I can't do my a la carte channel selection yet.
Not yet, but or at least until Hulu or Google or somebody else brings everything from the broadcasting cable networks to the internets.
I still have to say the most interesting aspect is still when you hit the search button, that it will call up a free and a paid web video, including Wired was told anyway, pay-per-view from Dish Cinema.
Yeah, I like that idea. So it's like anything it can find, plus it's going to scan your local listings for your service. It's going to be really interesting to see. I actually can't wait to get hands-on and not just see it like, shot over a bunch of heads in a big,
It could explode.
Demo.
It could go big.
I was going to say, you mean like explode like cringe or explode like amazing?
Yeah, until like amazing.
Like
it could be
hula
amazing. If it can really grab the content I want and get it to me at a reasonable cost, then
that would be nice.
Yeah, probably won't be everything I want to see, but
I think at this point it's more about serving Google advertising in a new and exciting way, and then they're going to leverage that into bringing more television. I don't know. It's going to support Netflix too.
Google should just buy ESPN, and then they'd have me for life. I think I'd be done at that point. Anyway, not much has developed, at least, since Google announced the original announcement of its service this summer, though news is perking through that Google and Logitech are working on an incredible, quote, incredible remote control and the ability to use your cell phone to control the device. Yeah, it's been done before. In related news, Samsung told Bloomberg that they might build Google TV into future HD TVs. Google TV is expected to hit outside the US in 2011.
It's going to be interesting to see.
It's going to be cool.
Yeah.
Combine that with a little, I don't know, Google OS, maybe going into a TV. Maybe with their TV service,
maybe something good, maybe
they're
something bad.
They're taking over the world. Also, much of the HD news this week came from IFA Berlin, which bills itself as the, quote, world's largest trade fair for consumer electronics and home appliances, which means it's CES plus pretzels, beer, refrigerators, and washing machines.
Can you imagine?
Yes, yes. CES, it's coming up. Philips, they introduced the Cinema 21x9, the super wide HTV designed to eliminate the black strips from above and below your 235:1 movies, has gotten a 3D upgrade. According to Tech Radar, the 3D Cinema 21x9 Platinum will sell for £3,500 when it ships to the UK in September. No US release dates are in the works.
That kind of bums me out.
We have Vizio working on that for us, so we'll get their product in when it ships.
When it ships, I like that,
baby.
We're going to be sitting here watching movies with no black strips.
Oh, that's going to be epic.
The glory. Plex 9, the media platform, was showed off last week, which I admit was more enthusiasm than expertise. But it is pretty. It's going to be showing up in the next generation of LG's Netcast home entertainment products. And yes, XBMC fans, I will be showing it off shortly. For those who aren't in the know, XBMC is kind of the source from which Boxy and Plex and many other things come from.
Many great projects.
Yeah.
LG was also showing off the, quote, world's slimmest full LED 3D TV at IFA, the LG LEX8, which measures 0.88 centimeters thin. That can't be right. Wow.
That's what they said.
88 millimeters or 8.8 millimeters? That's
maybe 0.88 inches thin.
No. I think it is.
0.88 centimeters?
Yeah. Isn't that 8.8 millimeters? Am I moving my decimal point wrong? Maybe. Anyway,
That's 8.8, 10 millimeters to a centimeter.
it is
We were
tiny.
raised on the imperial system,
We
folks.
should not have been. Anyway, this TV will use the nano lighting technology. That's a quote from LG. It's LG's extremely thin film printed with minuscule dots positioned in front of the full array of LEDs that disperses light more evenly and effectively across the screen, creating pictures that are clearer, enticingly smoother, and more refined.
I like my pixels enticingly smooth.
Yeah, that nanotechnology also incorporates some cool stuff regarding the LEDs themselves, which we can get into.
I just think that sounds like a freaking, like, you know, I don't often drink alcohol, but when I do, I drink. You know what I mean? Like,
The most interesting man in the world.
Yeah, the most interesting HDTV in the world.
That incorporates some pretty interesting tech. And the thing that really blows me away about that was the 1.3 centimeter wide bezel around the edge of the screen. I'm sick of bezels on TVs for some reason.
Disgusted.
I am, and they're going away.
Get yourself one of them Sanist, like, freaking 3 millimeter mounts with your 8 millimeter TV with your minuscule bezel.
Gorilla Glue, just permanent.
Sony announced that the PS3 3D playback update has been delayed to October. Sony Corp CEO Sir Howard Stringer added, quote, "The 3D train is moving forward speedily and steadily like China's Harmony Express." And Sony clearly has the strongest 3D engine in the 3D Express.
Wow.
Sir Howard said in a press release. That's just the most bizarre quote ever. China's Harmony
Sir
Express.
Howard Stringer.
He's a fascinating dude.
Hey, and Panasonic will be the, quote, exclusive launch partner when Avatar hits 3D Blu-ray this December. In fact, Panasonic told Twice publication that the disc will only be available to consumers who purchase a Panasonic 3D Viera Plasma HDTV for, quote, an undisclosed period of time. Wow.
Yeah.
Sony will have exclusive rights to Disney's Alice in Wonderland and Bolt in 3D, so there's kind of like a tit for tat.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm thinking
some 3D
Panasonic
movies
has the edge on that one.
All kind of being pigeonholed into products you probably already need to buy in order to get access to them. Next year, this will all be straightened out.
Yeah. Well, look, if you're looking for more 3D HD content, keep an eye out for ESPN 3D, who is broadcasting 13 college football games this fall. Actually, make that 12 since the Boise State versus Virginia Tech game was last week. In fact, it might be 11 by the time
I checked my channel guide. I have ESPN 3D listed there, so I'm just like, it's always blank though. There's nothing playing. I gotta see.
I'm waiting for the 3D.
I guess I have to wait for
action.
the games to start actually.
Imagine the 3D curling cam down, watching the pucks come towards you.
It'll feel like it's just gonna hit you in the stomach if they have it.
Revolutionize the game. Let's take a moment to thank one of our sponsors, GameFly.com. We're talking about the largest online video game rental service. 7,000 new and classic titles across all consoles and handhelds. Plans start at just $15.95 a month, and if you're a GameFly member, you can rent 1 to 4 games at a time and keep for as long as you like. No late fees, no due dates, and shipping to and from your house. You never leave the house again. It's always free. Once you're done playing a game, send it back. GameFly is going to send you the next available game on your list. If you really like the game you're playing, simply click Keep It on the GameFly website, and the game is yours at a discounted price. GameFly will even mail you the case and manuals free of charge. HD Nation fans get a free 2-week trial when and only when they go to gamefly.com/HDNation. Some restrictions do apply. Please see the site for details, and please support HD Nation by supporting our sponsors like gamefly.com/HDNation. 1978 version of Invasion of the Body Snatchers. I gotta say I'm a bigger fan of the original, but that may be acting. It's being released on Blu-ray this week, and that got the bullpen thinking about aliens as they've appeared in cinema over the years.
Yes.
Now we bring you the top 5 alien movies on Blu-ray. First up, of course, Invasion of the Body Snatchers. We're talking about the 78 remake, since the 1956 version, sadly, isn't available on Blu-ray. This one stars Jeff Goldblum, Donald Sutherland, and Leonard Nimoy as they deal with an alien invasion that attacks by replicating people that are indistinguishable from their human counterparts, except they lack any emotion. How do they tell in Leonard Nimoy's case? Anyhow, I don't want to spoil anything, but let's just say Nimoy's experience as a Vulcan comes in very handy. Next up, The Day the Earth Stood Still. With all due respect to Keanu Reeves, we're not talking about the remake. The actual 1951 version is out on Blu-ray. Outstanding. It takes place in Washington, D.C., where an alien spacecraft lands and the alien occupants claim to come in peace. The humans react, well, like humans did in the 1950s, and the alien warns them to quit being so violent. Because this film was released in 1951, it had pretty serious resonance in the context of the Cold War as it relates to international paranoia, suspicion, and of course, violence. Next on our list, District 9, yet another film that uses alien invasion as a metaphor for current social issues. This 2009 film was set up as kind of a stylized, you're on a documentary shoot. Anyhow, an alien ship has been stranded hovering above Johannesburg. Humans get inside, and all the aliens aboard, derogatorily called prawns, are crowded into a neighborhood called District 9, which, if you look up District 6, has a certain resonance in South African history. It is a fantastic sci-fi film, earned 4 Academy Award nominations, despite not having a single big-name actor involved. Check it out. On a lighter note, check out The Fifth Element, this 97 film directed by Luc Besson for The Professional and La Femme Nikita fame.
Also excellent movies.
Absolutely, we love all 3 of them. Stars Bruce Willis and Mila Jovovich with an over-the-top appearance by Gary Oldman. Mila literally falls into Bruce Willis's life, and together they have to track down a cosmic weapon before it falls into the wrong hands. We've got space travel, mayhem, rockets, and Chris Tucker in probably his finest film role as
Ruby Rod.
Ruby Rod. You're like, this is like a classic film to check out the quality of your HDTV. Premiered at Cannes. And actually did really well at the box office. It's a beautiful, beautiful film.
It's a fun romp with classic sci-fi characters and good fun aliens.
Yeah, I don't mean like beautiful cinematic romp like you'd be like, you know, I'm gonna,
No, the audio and the visuals in this movie are pretty spectacular.
Yeah.
And it's got Ruby Rod.
Yeah.
Chris Tucker, arguably his best role ever.
Probably, period. Next up, Star Trek 2009, one of my personal favorites. While not strictly an alien movie in the traditional sense, there are extraterrestrial beings in the film, including the classic Green Woman of Star Trek fame. Seen more as a reboot to the franchise, this film takes a look at how all those familiar characters came to end up in the Starship Enterprise. The soundtrack is awesome, the reboot is amazing, and the video looks gorgeous, even if they managed to stuff more lens flares than you ever thought possible into a single movie. Scored 4 Academy Award nominations, including one for Best Makeup, probably on one of the aliens. Last but not least, let's cut to Robert's reaction here. Predator?
Thumbs up. Dylan! Or get to the chopper! Which is said twice in the movie, I must add.
I bet you got. Did you watch it last weekend?
Dude, they were playing it on TV. They were editing out all the bad language, and I just said
all the good parts.
All the good parts. And so I just said, forget this. Popped in the Blu-ray. Be done with it.
The director of Die Hard brings you Arnold Schwarzenegger and his team of, well, not murderers, traipsing through the jungle trying to avoid a murderous creature.
He's hunting humans.
Humans.
The creature likes to hunt the biggest animal in the jungle, that being man.
The top of the food chain. In any case, it starts out as kind of an action flick. It turns into a horror suspense things. And, well, basically Arnie and the crew start to stay alive. It's a little thin in the plot department, but it's a fun movie. And I gotta say, it's probably Rob's favorite on this list. It went on to spawn 2 sequels as well as a crossover with the Alien franchise, which of course is Alien vs. Predator. Speaking of which, honorable mention, Aliens. Well, Alien, Aliens, and Alien 3, no list of Alien movies, could be complete without them, but they won't be released on Blu-ray until October 24th, when you'll be able to get the whole trilogy together in a box set and spend all weekend getting your scary on.
Hey, it's time for the new Blu-ray releases for the week of September 14th, 2010. First up, Seven, directed by David Fincher from Fight Club. This 1995 film stars Morgan Freeman and Brad Pitt as 2 police detectives trying to find a serial killer whose kills are based around the 7 deadly sins. This release will include a 32-page booklet, and extras will include 4 commentary tracks, alternate endings, an exploration of the opening title sequence, and much more. One of Fincher's best movies, this film is full of suspense, mystery, and has a hell of an ending. So if you haven't seen it yet, now is the time. Next up, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, 35th Anniversary Ultimate Collector's Edition. This 1975 film was the second movie ever to have won all of the Big 5 Academy Awards: Best Picture, Best Actor, Best Actress, Best Director, and Best Screenplay. It's based on the book of the same name and tells the story of a mental patient, brilliantly played by Jack Nicholson, and the chaos he stirs up at the institution. This transfer is the same as the Digibook release from 2 years ago, but they've really stepped it up with the extras. You'll get the commentary and deleted scenes that came on the first Blu-ray release, but added to that are an 87-minute documentary on the film and a 30-minute featurette which discusses the conditions of mental hospitals. Not only that, but this release comes with a number of physical extras. A 12-page booklet of newspaper articles that came out around the film's release, 4 mini posters, a deck of playing cards, 6 character cards, and a 52-page commemorative hardbound book. Also released this week, It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, the complete Season 5. This FX series follows a group of friends and Danny DeVito who run an Irish bar in Philadelphia. The characters are all admittedly arrogant, lazy, selfish, and greedy, and while you have every reason to hate each one of them, they pull it off with a sense of humor which you're either going to love or hate. This release comes with a blooper reel, the gang's dating profile, Kitten Knitten's endless loop, the Season 1 pilot episode, and more. The 6th season starts this week, so you better catch up if you're not already. Other releases this week include the History Channel's America, The Story of Us, 2005's The Amityville Horror, The Big Bang Theory, the complete 3rd season, Bloodsport and Time Cop, Boogie Woogie, the Criterion Collection's Breathless from 1960, A Cinderella Story and Another Cinderella Story, 2005's Feast, Fringe, the complete 2nd season, Glee, the complete 1st season, 1978's Invasion of the Body Snatchers, as we mentioned earlier, Jacob's Ladder, Janine Garofalo, if you will, Just Right, The League, the complete 1st season, Letters to Juliet, The Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Rings, The Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King, The Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers, that's just too much Lord of the Rings, 1975's Mandingo, 1934's March of the Wooden Soldiers, Mercury Rising, Monster House, The Order, Paperman, Prince of Persia, The Sands of Time, Raging Phoenix, The Return of the Living Dead, Shiloh and Saving Shiloh, Spirit of the Forest, 1949's The Third Man, The Twilight Zone Season 1, and 2005's Unleashed. It's time to thank one of our sponsors, Netflix. With more than 15 million members, Netflix is the world's largest subscription service, instantly streaming TV episodes and movies over the internet and sending DVDs by mail. This week, my Netflix queue is topped off with the 2009 witty drama Up in the Air, the talented George Clooney, and a DTS HD soundtrack. That's good times. For $8.99 a month, Netflix members can instantly watch unlimited TV episodes and movies streamed to their TVs and computers, and can receive unlimited DVDs delivered quickly to their homes. Blu-ray plans start at just $5.99 a month. With Netflix, there are never any due dates or late fees, and shipping is free. Members can select from a growing library of titles that can be watched instantly, and a vast array of titles on DVD. Among the large and expanding number of devices streaming TV episodes and movies from Netflix are Microsoft's Xbox 360, Sony's PS3 game console, and Nintendo's Wii console. As a new member and HD Nation viewer, you can get a free trial membership. Go to netflix.com/HDNation and sign up now. Be sure to use this URL so that they know we sent you. I still have to say that Predator 2 is arguably the best alien movie there is out there. That and Mars Attacks, which came out last week, that is also one of my favorite alien movies. But Predator 2
on that one.
In terms of a story about an alien, it's got something
The
there.
touching, heartwarming saga of an alien.
And it takes place in that far-off year of 1997. Yeah, it's awesome.
Normally, since we're all giddy, I mean, we're HD video all the time. But since I'm 300 CDs into rebuilding my audio collection for my home media server, and Heron's an even bigger fan of DB Power Amp than I am, we figured we'd show JC some love. He writes in, Dear Patrick and Robert, I'm trying to psych myself up to back up all my CDs using DB Power Amp. I'm being a bit hesitant as I would like to get it right the first time. There are a number of non-trivial settings in the program, and I don't know which matter and which don't. For instance, do I really need a CD drive brand X with C2 correction? Kinda, but we'll talk about that later. Would it be possible to put together a short segment of do this but don't do that under any circumstances? Ideally, I would like to have DB Power Amp do a semi-simultaneous FLAC backup for archiving and subsequently generate MP3s for use on the go. I love your shows, Revision 3, and my Roku box. Regards, Jeff in Pennsylvania.
Very cool.
Yeah, well, look, I love DB Power Amp. Tons of codec support, supports secure ripping, which means getting the most accurate copy of the data off your CD and onto your hard drive. And best of all, it's stupid fast with secure rips. Secure meaning it works to make sure you get accurate data. And yes, basically like if it's scratched or if there's an issue with the disc or an issue with your CD player. And actually, it can encode to more than 2 formats at once. Or actually, it can record to 2 formats at once. Just download the multi-encoder from DP's Codec Central page along with the codecs you need.
That's really nice. They have the central repository for all the codecs you might be interested in, and they're all simple EXEs for installing, except for maybe the MPEG-4 audio one. You kind of got to jump through a little hoop there, but still a pretty easy way to update your codecs.
If you have a huge CD collection like I do, spend $36 on DB Power Amp Reference. Not only supports Spoon's awesome program, but you get the batch ripper, which means you can rip multiple discs at the same time or use like a CD robot.
Ah,
yeah, those are pretty
fancy.
cool. The other night I was actually able to get like I think it was averaging 60 discs an hour.
That's really good.
Yeah.
Now, I was using a single drive, and it was taking me...
I was using 5.
Okay, that's the way to go.
Batch ripper. And that was with accurate rip verification of the data quality. The scratch discs were a mess, but I'm hoping to get that over 100 discs an hour with 3 more SATA DVD burners and a couple mods to the way I set up my PC.
That's a speed. Might have to borrow that rig at some point. So
we'll talk about it. I followed the basic advice from various forums, primarily Hydrogen Audio and the DB Power Amp forums. But the truth is, most of the settings you can ignore.
Hey, some tips I can pass along are, 1, it's good that you're using a lossless audio format like FLAC. That ensures that, you know what, down the road, if you want to maybe convert that to an MPEG-4 audio or an MP3, you've got a lossless place to start that gives you the best audio quality. Yeah. 2, I've got to say that DB Power Amp has some nifty tools related to error checking. Pat mentioned the secure ripping and the AccuRip are 2 items to check out. AccuRip is an online database of other people's results ripping that audio CD. It's not perfect, but it can help you figure out when your CD just ain't right. Also, there are different settings related to the CD that are specific to the CD drive's functionality. Those are things like C2 air support and the ability to even support secure rips and offsets and other things like that. You can basically just dig into the settings for DB Power Amp and make those adjustments in there to see if the drive even supports that kind of thing, and it'll tell you if it doesn't. Also, I always rip my CDs into a separate test folder before adding them to my master collection location. Basically, I have something called a test folder, a rip test folder. Depending on a particular album and how you are doing the song title / file name / artist and album folder layouts, I try to stick with the default settings for these things. The program, DB Power Amp, will sometimes split that album up into individual artists folders. Say a particular album features several artists and songwriters on the one album. This can make it really difficult to recognize and organize it or fix it after the fact. So every dozen or so CDs, I'll check my rip test folder, and if everything looks okay, then I'll move that data over to my final master location. Also, try a few discs and see what happens. The test folder is key. It's better to spend a few days getting your settings and your folder album structure just the way you like. And then, of course, make sure you use those sweet metadata search tools that are provided within the program yourself. So you get things like album titles and artwork and all of that stuff.
And artwork that's accurate and song titles that are accurate, because the CDDB database, especially if you have like short CD singles with 1, 2, 3 tracks on them, can be particularly messy, as a friend of ours pointed out.
Good to know. Good to know. I've had more luck with their metadata tools built into DB Power Amp lately than I had, say, a couple years back. They seem to be using multiple sources now and correlating that information to make sure that it seems to be pretty accurate.
That's a plus.
It's nice. And if you can embed certain information right into the file itself, your tag information namely, including album art, that can go a long way to just making sure your experience using those files on different systems and platforms makes it a lot easier. Hey, and if at a later date you decide to convert your lossless tracks into another format, DB Power Amp's batch converter needs a little customization if you want to keep your original file folder structure intact. It'll do that whole splitting up by the artist album thing if you leave it uncustomized.
We'll put a link in the show notes.
Yeah, we should definitely do that. Took a little searching on the internet to find the right string to make that all work right, but you know, you go to all that work to get your folders just right. You don't want it all just exploding on you, so.
That would be bad.
Yeah.
And by the way, if you can, go lossless, because that means all the music's there.
Your ears will thank you.
Yeah, or at least our ears will.
For as long as you can hear.
Let's take a moment to thank one of our sponsors, GoDaddy.com. Looking to drive viewers to your video content? You should have a .tv domain name and stand out from the crowd, like hdnation.tv. .tv domains are perfect for podcasters, video bloggers, just about anybody with something to say online, and they're available now at GoDaddy.com. And remember, you can download GoDaddy's free iPhone, Android, and BlackBerry app to order right from your phone, which lets you manage your current domains and quite a bit more. You want a discount? Just use the code HDN10 to get any .com domain name for just $7.99. Do yourself a favor, check out revision3.com/GoDaddy for a list of all the amazing GoDaddy deals from Revision 3. Bob writes in, way back in episode 4, you talked about making your own screen cleaner and the best style of cloth to use. The one area you did not cover was the actual cleaning of the screen itself. Should I rub it in little circles, big broad strokes, or something in between? Regards, Bob. Man, the biggest thing that comes to mind when you're cleaning an HDTV is don't clean it unless it's nice and cool. Like right now, heat is coming off, and when you turn it off, heat will still be coming off for a while. Basically, like either before you turn it on for the day or after it's been off for a while, because the heat from the screen will dry your lint-free microfiber cloth out before you actually get the dust off the screen.
That's true. And for liquids, I don't know, unless something's on your screen like peanut butter, fingerprints from Patrick's son, or any of the above, oily stuff, just use plain water. And even in most cases, I find that water will cut through quite a bit. Clean water,
Yeah.
I don't go to too many.
You don't go with like
hardcore extremes
distilled
here.
water from
No,
like,
I just
you know.
take it right out of a tap or a filter picture. It's more important, I find, to make sure that cloth is very clean.
Yeah.
I used to work in a machine shop back in the day. And it's like I would freak out if there was like a little bit of metal left in a rag and you go to start watching or wiping down a screen surface only to put huge scratches in it. That's exactly what you don't want to do. Hence, make sure you're using either a brand new or a very clean microfiber cloth with no traces, no visible signs of any kind of dirt or other crud on there.
Yeah, if you're looking for microfiber cloths, you can buy a giant pack of them in the wash your car section of most automotive chains. Or at Costco, you get like 42,000 microfiber cloths. Again, I would wash them once by themselves with nothing else to make sure there's nothing else in them dirt-wise.
Totally.
Or loose bits of lint.
As far as your motions, though, when using the rag, I would never do anything in small circular patterns. That is just asking for squirrel marks.
You don't want engine turning marks on your screen?
Especially for the gloss-coated screens, and then even for the screens that aren't gloss-coated, you want to be really careful with those as well, because you don't want to push so hard on that screen surface material that you're going to put some kind of a wear mark on it,
Right.
or in any way distort it or create a noticeable pattern on that.
So gently wipe, long, broad
horizontally,
strokes.
vertically stroke, edge to edge, and then maybe check the corners. Make sure you get because sometimes you'll force crud into the corners of the screen. Maybe take a little air to blow
work
that
from
out.
the corner out rather than into the corner.
If you can dust the TV off with a can of compressed gas of some kind too beforehand, or just blow it off a little air, if that can remove some of it, that's better than I think taking even a rag and wiping it on. And it's the shiny surfaces that you got to worry the most about because they will get scratched.
Yeah, just don't hold the can of compressed air too close to the screen or else you might freeze it.
No freezing allowed.
That would be bad. Oh, by the way, in case you're wondering from episode 4, basically rubbing alcohol, 90% rubbing alcohol, 10 to 1 in water if you need to get stuff off of the screen.
Favorite handy chemicals to have laying around.
It's amazing what you
90
can do with
plus.
denatured alcohol. Well, not denatured, rubbing alcohol. Just don't
Denatured.
get the stuff with the menthol scent.
Less natured, less watery alcohol. Hey, we have Sam who writes in, hello, Patrick and Robert. I just bought a Blu-ray player and have found out that it cannot handle the new BDXL Blu-ray format.
Oh, noes.
The woes. Is it a big deal to not have BDXL in a Blu-ray player? How popular is BDXL going to get? Any guesstimates? It would be wonderful if you could discuss about this new format in HD Nation. Signed, Sam from Canada. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not worried at all about any of this. I think there are probably some players out there now that could be firmware updated to support BDXL, maybe.
I'm not holding my breath. I think it's a different laser. Here's the thing, right? Most Blu-ray players, pretty much no Blu-ray players on the market right now support BDXL because the BDXL spec wasn't finished by the Blu-ray Disc Association until late this summer. It's more for commercial applications. Like Bob's MRI hut, where he needs to store gigantic amounts of documents on a daily basis. Because BDXL, it's a 3-layer, 100 gigabyte rewritable or write once disc, or a 4-layer, 128 gigabyte recordable disc. Little tiny chunks of information. Little
like that.
tiny zeros and ones.
That would be nice for backups, though. On the computer side, I could see those drives happening a lot sooner.
Yeah.
And perhaps enabling support earlier on drives that are already out in the field for PCs compared to the set-top players, at least.
That would be nice, yeah. And look, by the way, if you search around online, Sony and Panasonic are dropping DVRs. It'll burn to BDXL discs this fall. I know the Sony models are Japan only, and I'm pretty sure the Panasonics are Nippon only too, but I can't read the kanji and the fine print on the press release from Panasonic.
Oh my.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Hey, and we've got a good tip from Larry for anybody using Odyssey calibration on their AV receiver. He says, hi guys, I really enjoy your shows. On the last show, I noticed that Patrick mentioned that his Odyssey calibration resulted in the channel level on his subwoofer being set to negative 12 dB. This is the limit. This is at the limit of adjustment for his Denon receiver. That means you can't be sure the level of the subwoofer has been set to a reference level. The solution is to turn down the gain on the back of the subwoofer and rerun Odyssey. Any channel value other than the maximum settings limit of negative 12 dB or plus 12 dB will ensure that Odyssey has set your channel to reference level. That really does make sense. Just don't put the control at the extremes. Make sure it's somewhere in the middle. Then run the Odyssey configuration.
Larry, I will be rerunning Odyssey this evening to ensure I have my compliance on.
Nice.
Yeah, the Odyssey calibration is awesome. You know what else is awesome? Callie Lewis. She's awesome. And 3 times a week, she's keeping all of us in the know with the world of gadgets, tech, and all things geek. You can't miss Geek Beat TV. It comes out every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at revision3.com/geekbeattv.
Yeah. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed this episode of HD Nation. I do. And as always, we want to know what you think. So send your comments, questions, or suggestions. That means you to hdnation@revision3.com.
You can always find us on Facebook, facebook.com/HDNation. And you can find links regarding pretty much everything we've talked about on today's show in the show notes on the page for the show at acnation.tv, which you can get at GoDaddy.com. Not our URL, your own .tv URL.
Do it. Plus, you'll find all the links to subscribe to the show. So please subscribe and watch. Tell your friends and family. And until next time.
Thanks for watching. I'm Patrick Norton.
And I'm Robert Heron. We'll see you next week.